They told you that hormonal changes after 40 were inevitable, that you'd just have to accept the weight gain, the sleepless nights, the loss of energy and desire. But what if everything you've been doing to fix your hormones has actually been making them worse? I'm Dr. Claire Winslow, and in my 30 years of helping women reclaim their vitality, I've watched countless patients unknowingly sabotage their hormone balance with one seemingly innocent daily habit. The pharmaceutical companies won't tell you this, and most doctors don't even realize the connection. But this single mistake is silently wreaking havoc on your estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone levels, leaving you exhausted, frustrated, and feeling like a shadow of your former self. But here's the shocking part. What if the very thing your doctor recommended to help your hormones is actually the root cause of your struggles? Make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell, because what I'm about to reveal could change everything you thought you knew about hormone health after 40. Let me tell you about Margaret, a vibrant 47-year-old teacher who walked into my office last spring looking like she'd aged 10 years in just 2. Her once bright eyes were dull with exhaustion, her skin had lost its glow, and she confided that she hadn't felt truly intimate with her husband in over a year. "Dr. Winslow," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "I'm doing everything right. I take my multivitamin every morning, I've cut calories, I exercise when I can find the energy, and I even started taking those hormone support supplements I saw advertised online, but I feel worse than ever. What's wrong with me?" Nothing was wrong with Margaret. She was simply a victim of what I call the morning hormone hijack, a daily routine that millions of women follow religiously, believing it's helping their health, when in reality it's systematically destroying their delicate hormonal symphony. You see, most women don't realize that their hormones are like a beautiful orchestra. Each hormone has its part to play, its perfect timing, its unique contribution to the melody of your well-being. But when you disrupt this orchestra with the wrong timing, the wrong combinations, or the wrong approach, the music becomes chaos. And the most dangerous part, this disruption often begins with something as simple as what you put in your mouth within the first hour of waking up. I've seen it happen to teacher after teacher, nurse after nurse, mother after mother. They're trying so hard to be healthy, following advice they've read online or heard from well-meaning friends, but they're unknowingly sending their hormones into a tailspin that creates a cascade of problems throughout their entire day. Margaret's story isn't unique. In fact, over the past 3 decades, I've treated thousands of women who were suffering from what I now recognize as morning hormone disruption syndrome. They all shared similar symptoms: unexplained weight gain around the midsection, brain fog that made simple tasks feel overwhelming, energy crashes that hit like a wall around 2 p.m., and a complete loss of interest in intimacy. But here's what fascinated me as a researcher, and broke my heart as a healer. Every single one of these women thought they were doing the right thing. They were following mainstream advice, taking recommended supplements, and making what they believed were healthy choices. Yet, their bodies were crying out in distress. The breakthrough came when I started tracking not just what my patients were consuming, but when they were consuming it, and in what combinations. That's when I discovered the shocking truth that changed everything about how I approach hormone health in women over 40. The culprit wasn't just one thing, it was a perfect storm of timing, combination, and misunderstanding about how a woman's body actually processes nutrients and hormones in the morning hours. And once I understood this connection, I was able to help Margaret and hundreds of other women reclaim their energy, their confidence, and their joy. But before I reveal exactly what this morning mistake is, I want you to understand why your hormones are so vulnerable in the first place, especially after 40. Because once you understand the science behind what's happening in your body, you'll never look at your morning routine the same way again. Think of your 20s and 30s as living in a beautifully maintained house where everything worked perfectly. The heating system kept you warm, the electrical system powered everything smoothly, and the plumbing flowed without a hitch. That was your hormonal system in its prime: estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, all dancing together in perfect harmony. But something changes as you approach 40. And it's not what most people think. You see, conventional wisdom tells us that our hormones simply decline with age, as if someone slowly turns down a dimmer switch, but that's not accurate, and this misunderstanding is why so many treatments fail. Your hormones don't just gradually decrease, they become erratic, unpredictable, and highly sensitive to disruption. Imagine that beautifully maintained house, starting to show its age. Sometimes the heating works perfectly, other times it blasts you with too much heat or leaves you shivering. The electrical system becomes temperamental lights, flickering on and off without warning. The plumbing might work fine for days, then suddenly stop flowing altogether. This is perimenopause, and it can begin as early as 35, though most women don't experience noticeable symptoms until their early to mid-40s. During this phase, which can last anywhere from 2 to 12 years, your ovaries are like a car engine that's starting to sputter. Some days they produce plenty of hormones, other days hardly any. And there's no predicting which kind of day you'll have. Your estrogen levels can swing wildly sometimes, soaring higher than they were in your 20s, causing symptoms like breast tenderness, heavy periods, and mood swings, then plummeting to menopausal levels within days, leaving you exhausted, foggy, and emotionally fragile. But here's what most doctors don't tell you. During this vulnerable time, your hormone production becomes incredibly sensitive to stress, sleep disruption, blood sugar spikes, and yes, the timing and combination of what you consume each morning. Let me explain why the morning hours are so crucial. When you wake up, your body has been fasting for 8 to 12 hours. Your blood sugar is naturally low. Your cortisol should be rising to help you wake up and feel alert, and your reproductive hormones are preparing for their daily dance. This is a delicate time when your body is essentially rebooting its hormonal systems for the day ahead. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Most women have been taught to start their day with what seems like healthy choices: a multivitamin with breakfast, maybe some calcium, perhaps a protein shake, or a piece of fruit. But when you understand how your digestive system interacts with your hormonal system during these crucial morning hours, you realize why these seemingly innocent choices can throw everything off balance. Your gut produces over 30 different hormones and contains more neurotransmitters than your brain. When you consume certain combinations of nutrients, supplements, or foods first thing in the morning, you're not just feeding your body, you're sending powerful chemical signals that can either support your hormonal balance or completely derail it. I learned this the hard way through my own experience. At 52, I was struggling with many of the same symptoms I now see in my patients. Despite my medical knowledge, despite eating what I thought was a healthy diet, despite taking high-quality supplements, I felt like I was losing myself. My energy was inconsistent, my sleep was restless, and my relationship with my husband was suffering because I simply didn't feel like the vibrant woman I once was. It wasn't until I started experimenting with the timing and combination of my morning nutrition that everything changed. Within 3 weeks, I felt like myself again. My energy stabilized, my mood improved, and yes, my interest in intimacy returned with a vengeance that surprised even my husband. But the most shocking discovery came when I realized what I had been doing wrong all those years. The very supplement I had been taking every morning with breakfast, the one recommended by my own colleagues, the one marketed specifically for women's health, was actually blocking my body's ability to properly process and utilize my natural hormones. And I wasn't alone. As I began investigating further, I discovered that this morning hormone disruption was affecting millions of women, creating a cascade of symptoms that doctors were treating individually rather than addressing the root cause. The supplement industry has created a perfect storm of confusion, convincing women that more is better, that synthetic is equivalent to natural, and that timing doesn't matter. But your body knows the difference, and it's been trying to tell you through symptoms you've probably been ignoring or masking with more supplements, more medications, more interventions that only make the problem worse. Are you starting to see the pattern? The fatigue that hits you like a wall, the brain fog that makes you feel like you're thinking through molasses, the mysterious weight gain that doesn't respond to diet or exercise, the loss of interest in things that once brought you joy. These aren't separate problems requiring separate solutions. They're all symptoms of the same underlying issue: morning hormone disruption. The mistake that's sabotaging your hormones every single morning is so common, so seemingly innocent, that when I first discovered it, I had to double-check my research 3 times before I believed it myself. It's taking your multivitamin or calcium supplement with breakfast. I know what you're thinking, Dr. Winslow, that can't be right. Every doctor I've ever seen has told me to take my vitamins with food. The bottle says take with meals. How could this be harmful? Let me explain exactly what happens in your body when you take these supplements with your morning meal, and why this timing is particularly devastating for women over 40 when you consume calcium. Whether from a supplement or even from seemingly healthy sources like fortified orange juice or a calcium-enriched breakfast bar along with other minerals and vitamins, first thing in the morning, you create what I call a mineral traffic jam in your digestive system. Here's the science. Calcium competes directly with magnesium, zinc, and iron for absorption. But here's what they don't tell you. Calcium always wins. It's like a bully that pushes the other minerals out of the way, taking up all the absorption sites in your intestines and leaving the other essential minerals with nowhere to go. Now, why does this matter for your hormones? Because magnesium is absolutely critical for progesterone production. Zinc is essential for testosterone synthesis. Iron supports healthy thyroid function. When calcium blocks the absorption of these minerals day after day, month after month, year after year, you're slowly starving your hormone-producing organs of the nutrients they desperately need. But it gets worse, much worse. Most commercial multivitamins contain synthetic forms of B vitamins, particularly B6 and B12, that actually interfere with your body's ability to process natural hormones. These synthetic vitamins don't behave the same way in your body as the natural forms found in food. Instead of supporting your hormonal health, they create what researchers call vitamin antagonism. Essentially, they block the very processes they're supposed to support. I saw this firsthand with Sarah, a 44-year-old marketing executive who came to me completely exhausted. She had been taking a popular women's multivitamin every morning with breakfast for over 5 years, along with an additional calcium supplement because she was worried about osteoporosis. Her lab results showed she was actually deficient in magnesium and zinc, despite taking supplements that contained both minerals. How is that possible? She asked me, holding up her expensive bottle of vitamins. This says it has 400 milligrams of magnesium and 15 milligrams of zinc. How can I be deficient? The answer was simple but shocking. The 600 milligrams of calcium she was taking at the same time was preventing her body from absorbing the magnesium and zinc. She had been literally flushing money down the toilet while starving her hormones of essential nutrients for 5 years. But the calcium mineral competition is only part of the problem. The other part involves something called your circadian hormone rhythm. And this is where the timing becomes absolutely critical. Your body produces different hormones at different times of the day in a carefully orchestrated pattern that has evolved over millions of years. Cortisol peaks in the morning to help you wake up and feel alert. Growth hormone is highest during deep sleep. And your reproductive hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, have their own delicate timing that can be easily disrupted. You flood your system with synthetic vitamins and competing minerals first thing in the morning. You're essentially throwing a wrench into this finely tuned mechanism. Your body has to work overtime to process these artificial compounds, diverting energy and resources away from hormone production and regulation. Think of it like trying to have a quiet, intimate conversation with your partner while a marching band is practicing in your living room. The conversation might still happen, but it's going to be strained, interrupted, and nowhere near as satisfying as it should be. This is exactly what's happening to your hormones every morning when you take that multivitamin with breakfast. You're creating chaos at the exact time when your body is trying to establish its hormonal rhythm for the day. And here's the most insidious part. The symptoms don't appear immediately. This isn't like food poisoning where you eat something and feel sick within hours. This is a slow, gradual erosion of your hormonal health that happens so subtly you don't notice it until one day you wake up feeling like a stranger in your own body. Remember Margaret, the teacher I told you about earlier? When she first came to see me, I asked her to bring all her supplements and medications. She arrived with a grocery bag full of bottles, multivitamins, calcium, omega-3 salve, probiotics, vitamin D, biotin for her hair, and several herbal supplements for energy and mood. When do you take all of these? I asked her. First thing in the morning with breakfast, she replied proudly. I read that you should take vitamins with food for better absorption. She was taking nearly 20 different supplements every morning, creating a perfect storm of nutrient competition, synthetic vitamin overload, and circadian rhythm disruption. No wonder she felt terrible. The solution wasn't to add more supplements or switch to different brands. The solution was to completely change when and how she supported her nutritional needs, and the results were nothing short of miraculous. Within 2 weeks of adjusting her supplement timing and eliminating the morning mineral traffic jam, Margaret's energy began to stabilize. Within a month, her brain fog lifted. By the end of 3 months, She told me she felt like herself again for the first time in years. "It's like someone turned the lights back on," she said during one of our follow-up appointments. "I didn't realize how dim everything had become until I started feeling bright again." But changing the timing was only part of the solution. The other part involved giving her body the specific nutrients it needed to restore hormonal balance, but in the way that worked with her natural rhythms instead of against them. Asterisk. Now that you understand what's been going wrong, let me share the solution that has transformed the lives of thousands of my patients over the past decade. This isn't about taking more supplements or following a complicated protocol. It's about working with your body's natural wisdom instead of against it. The first step is what I call the morning liberation. Instead of starting your day with a handful of synthetic vitamins and competing minerals, you're going to give your body exactly what it needs to establish healthy hormonal rhythms from the moment you wake up. Here's what this looks like in practice. When you first wake up, before you even think about food, you're going to have a simple glass of water with a pinch of high-quality sea salt and a squeeze of fresh lemon. This isn't just about hydration though. After 8 hours without water, your body desperately needs it. This is about providing your adrenal glands with the minerals they need to produce healthy cortisol levels and setting the stage for balanced hormone production throughout the day. The sea salt provides natural sodium and trace minerals that support adrenal function. The lemon provides vitamin C in its natural form, along with bioflavonoids that help your body process hormones more effectively. Together, they create an environment where your natural hormone production can flourish instead of struggle. But timing is everything. You want to have this morning elixir at least 30 minutes before you eat anything, and at least 2 hours before you take any supplements. This gives your body time to absorb these natural minerals without competition and establishes a healthy foundation for the day ahead. Now, let's talk about what happens when you do eat breakfast. This is where most women make their second critical mistake. They choose foods that spike their blood sugar and insulin levels, creating another wave of hormonal chaos just as their systems are trying to stabilize. Instead of the typical breakfast of cereal, toast, fruit juice, or even seemingly healthy options like yogurt with granola, you want to focus on what I call hormone-supportive morning nutrition. This means foods that provide steady energy, support neurotransmitter production, and give your body the building blocks it needs for healthy hormone synthesis. Think eggs, cooked in grass-fed butter, or coconut oil, providing cholesterol, which is the building block for all your sex hormones, healthy fats for brain function, and complete proteins for stable blood sugar. Add some sautéed leafy greens for natural folate and magnesium, maybe half an avocado for additional healthy fats and potassium. This type of breakfast works with your hormonal rhythms instead of against them. It provides sustained energy without the blood sugar roller coaster that exhausts your adrenal glands and disrupts your reproductive hormones. But what about your vitamins and minerals? When should you take those? Here's the protocol that has worked for thousands of my patients. Save your supplements for the afternoon or evening, when your digestive system is more active and your morning hormone production has stabilized. Specifically, take your magnesium in the evening to support relaxation and overnight hormone production. Take your B vitamins in the afternoon with lunch to support energy without interfering with morning cortisol rhythms. And if you need calcium, take it separately from other minerals, preferably in the evening when it can also support restful sleep. The key is separation and timing. Your body can only absorb so much at once, and certain nutrients work better at different times of day. By spreading your nutritional support throughout the day instead of overwhelming your system all at once in the morning, you optimize absorption and minimize interference with natural hormone production. Now, let me tell you about the foods that can actively support your hormone health throughout the day. These aren't exotic superfoods or expensive supplements. They're simple, delicious options that you can find at any grocery store. Pomegranate seeds contain natural compounds that support estrogen metabolism and help your body process hormones more efficiently. A handful with your afternoon snack can make a significant difference in how you feel. Dark leafy greens like spinach and kale provide natural folate, magnesium, and iron in forms your body can easily use. Unlike synthetic vitamins, these nutrients come packaged with cofactors and enzymes that enhance absorption and utilization. Wild caught salmon and sardines provide omega-3 fatty acids that are essential for hormone production and help reduce inflammation throughout your body. The difference between these natural sources and fish oil, supplements is remarkably your body recognizes and uses the natural forms much more effectively. Brazil nuts contain selenium, a mineral that's crucial for thyroid function and often depleted in women over 40. Just to Brazil nuts provide your daily selenium needs in a form that's perfectly balanced with other nutrients. But perhaps the most important discovery I've made in my 3 decades of practice is the power of what I call hormone-supporting rituals. Simple daily practices that signal to your body that it's safe to produce healthy levels of hormones. One of the most effective is taking a walk in the morning sunlight, ideally within the first hour of waking. This isn't about exercise, it's about exposing your eyes and skin to natural light, which helps regulate your circadian rhythms and supports healthy melatonin and cortisol production. Another powerful ritual is ending your day with a warm bath or shower with Epsom salts. The magnesium in Epsom salts can be absorbed through your skin, providing this crucial mineral for hormone production while also signaling to your nervous system that it's time to wind down and prepare for restorative sleep. These simple practices work because they honor your body's natural rhythms instead of fighting against them. They provide what your hormones need to function optimally without overwhelming your system or creating competition between nutrients. The results speak for themselves. Women who implement these changes typically notice improvements in energy within the first week, better sleep within 2 weeks, and significant improvements in mood, mental clarity, and yes, interest in intimacy within the first month. But remember, this isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Start with one change maybe. It's having that morning lemon water instead of immediately reaching for your vitamins. Or maybe it's moving your supplements to evening instead of morning. Small changes create momentum, and momentum creates transformation. Your BAFTA wants to feel good. Your hormones want to be balanced. You just need to stop getting in their way and start supporting them in the way they were designed to be supported, naturally, gently, and in harmony with your body's ancient wisdom. Let me share some more stories from my practice, because I want you to see yourself in these women and understand that what you're experiencing isn't permanent, isn't your fault, and most importantly, isn't something you have to just accept. Linda was 49 when she first came to see me, and she was convinced she was losing her mind. A successful lawyer who had always prided herself on her sharp memory and quick thinking, she suddenly found herself forgetting important meetings, losing her train of thought mid-sentence, and feeling like her brain was wrapped in cotton. I used to be the person everyone came to for answers, she told me, tears streaming down her face. Now I can't even remember where I put my car keys. My husband thinks I should retire early. My colleagues are starting to bypass me for important cases. I feel like I'm disappearing. Linda's morning routine was textbook for what I now recognize as hormone disruption syndrome. She started every day with a large cup of coffee, a calcium-fortified orange juice, and what she called her health insurance, a premium multivitamin, additional calcium supplement, vitamin D, and fish oil, all taken together with a breakfast of whole grain cereal and low-fat milk. She thought she was being incredibly healthy. In reality, she was creating a perfect storm of nutrient competition, blood sugar spikes, and circadian rhythm disruption that was slowly strangling her cognitive function and hormonal balance. When I explained the morning hormone hijack to Linda, her first reaction was skepticism. But Dr. Winslow, I've been taking vitamins this way for 15 years. If it was harmful, wouldn't I have noticed problems earlier? This is such an important question, and it gets to the heart of why this issue is so insidious. The truth is, when you're younger, your hormonal system is robust enough to compensate for these disruptions. Your ovaries are producing plenty of hormones, your adrenal glands are resilient, and your body can work around the obstacles you're unknowingly creating. But as you enter perimenopause, and your hormone production becomes more fragile, these same practices that your body once tolerated become the tipping point that pushes you into symptomatic hormone imbalance. That's like the difference between a young tree that can bend in a strong wind without breaking, and an older tree that might snap under the same conditions. The wind didn't get stronger, the tree became more vulnerable. But Linda was willing to try the changes I suggested, though she admitted she felt nervous about abandoning her morning vitamin routine. What if I become nutrient deficient? She worried. I assured her that we would monitor her nutrient levels carefully, and that she would actually be absorbing more nutrients by timing them properly than she had been by taking them all together in the morning. The transformation was remarkable. Within 3 weeks, Linda's mental fog began to lift. Within 6 weeks, her memory and concentration had improved dramatically. By 3 months, she told me she felt sharper than she had in years. "It's like someone cleaned the windshield of my mind," she said during one of our follow-up appointments. "I can see clearly again. I can think clearly again. I feel like myself again." Now, let me tell you about Janet, because her story addresses another concern I hear frequently from women. "But Dr. Winslow, my doctor told me I need calcium for my bones. If I don't take it with breakfast, when will I remember to take it?" Janet was 52 and had been taking calcium supplements every morning for 10 years after her doctor warned her about osteoporosis risk. Despite faithfully taking 1,200 milligrams of calcium daily, her recent bone density scan showed continued bone loss. "I don't understand it," her doctor had told her. "You're taking plenty of calcium. Maybe we need to consider medication." But when I looked at Janet's complete picture, her supplement timing, her other nutrient intake, her lifestyle factors, the problem became clear. All that calcium she was taking with breakfast was not only preventing absorption of magnesium, vitamin K2, and other minerals essential for bone health, but it was also disrupting her hormone production, which further accelerated bone loss. You see, bone health isn't just about calcium, it's about the complex interplay between multiple nutrients, hormones, and lifestyle factors. When you disrupt hormone production with poorly timed calcium supplementation, you can actually make bone loss worse, not better. I helped Janet restructure her entire approach to bone health. Instead of taking massive doses of calcium with breakfast, she started having her lemon water each morning, eating calcium-rich foods like sardines and leafy greens throughout the day, and taking a smaller dose of well-absorbed calcium in the evening along with magnesium, vitamin K2, and vitamin D. Within 6 months, not only had her bone density improved, but she was sleeping better, had more energy, and felt more like herself than she had in years. Her hormone balance had improved so dramatically that her hot flashes virtually disappeared and her interest in intimacy returned. "I thought I had to choose between my bones and feeling good," she told me. "I never imagined I could have both." These stories illustrate something crucial. The symptoms you're experiencing aren't separate problems that need separate solutions. They're all connected, all stemming from the same root cause of disrupted hormone production and poor nutrient absorption. When you address the underlying cause, the morning hormone hijack, you often see improvements in multiple areas simultaneously: better sleep, clearer thinking, more stable energy, improved mood, enhanced libido, and yes, even better bone health. But I want to address another concern I hear frequently. "Dr. Winslow, this sounds too simple. If changing when I take my vitamins could solve all these problems, why doesn't everyone know about this?" It's a fair question, and the answer is both complicated and frustrating. The supplement industry is a multi-billion-dollar business built on the premise that more is better and that synthetic is equivalent to natural. There's no financial incentive for companies to tell you that timing matters or that their products might be interfering with each other. Medical schools spend very little time teaching doctors about nutrition, and even less about the intricacies of nutrient absorption and timing. Most doctors learn what they know about supplements from the same marketing materials that consumers see, not from independent research about optimal timing and combinations. And perhaps most importantly, our culture has conditioned us to look for quick fixes and magic bullets. We want to believe that we can take a pill to solve our problems, preferably all at once, first thing in the morning, so we can check health off our to-do list and move on with our busy lives. But your body doesn't work that way. Your hormones don't work that way. Health isn't something you can accomplish with a single daily task. It's something you create through consistent, small choices that honor your body's natural rhythms and needs. The good news is that once you understand these principles, implementing them becomes second nature. My patients often tell me that after a few weeks, their new routine feels more natural and satisfying than their old one ever did. "I used to dread swallowing all those pills every morning," one patient told me. "Now I look forward to my lemon water ritual. It feels nurturing instead of obligatory." This shift from obligation to nurturing is profound, and it's part of what makes these changes sustainable. When you start working with your body instead of against it, taking care of yourself begins to feel good instead of burdensome. As I sit here reflecting on the thousands of women I've had the privilege to help over the past 3 decades, I'm struck by a common thread that runs through every success story. The moment when a woman realizes that her symptoms aren't a life sentence, that her struggles aren't a sign of weakness, and that her body isn't betraying her, it's simply been waiting for her to listen. You've spent so many years taking care of everyone else, your children, your spouse, your parents, your career, your community. You've been the strong one, the reliable one, the one everyone turns to when they need support. And somewhere along the way, you learned to ignore the whispers from your own body, to push through the fatigue, to accept the changes as inevitable parts of aging. But what if I told you that those whispers were actually your body's way of trying to guide you back to vitality? What if those symptoms weren't signs that you're falling apart, but signals that you're ready to rebuild yourself even stronger than before? That's exactly what happened to me when I finally applied these principles to my own life. At 52, I thought my best years were behind me. I thought the exhaustion, the brain fog, the loss of interest in intimacy were just the price I had to pay for getting older. I was wrong, and I'm so grateful I was wrong. Today, at 62, I have more energy, mental clarity, and zest for life than I had in my 40s. My relationship with my husband is deeper and more passionate than it's ever been. I sleep soundly, wake up refreshed, and approach each day with genuine enthusiasm. This isn't because I found some miracle cure or secret fountain of youth. It's because I learned to work with my body's wisdom instead of against it. And that's what I want for you. I want you to experience the joy of waking up feeling rested and excited for the day ahead. I want you to rediscover the pleasure of feeling sharp and focused, of remembering names and details without effort. I want you to reconnect with your sensuality, your passion, your ability to experience deep intimacy and connection. These aren't unrealistic expectations or youthful fantasies. They're your birthright as a woman who has earned the wisdom that comes with experience and deserves to enjoy the vitality that comes with honoring your body's needs. The changes I've shared with you today, stopping the morning hormone hijack, timing your nutrients to support rather than compete with each other, choosing foods that nourish your hormonal health, and creating simple daily rituals that honor your natural rhythms. These aren't complicated or expensive interventions. They're gentle shifts that acknowledge the sophisticated wisdom of your body and support its natural desire for balance and vitality. But I want to be clear about something important. This isn't about perfection. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. You don't need to become someone different than who you are. You just need to make small, consistent choices that align with how your body actually works, rather than how you think it should work. Start where you are, with what you have, at whatever pace feels comfortable for you. Maybe tomorrow morning, instead of reaching for your vitamins first thing, you'll start with a glass of lemon water and see how that feels. Maybe next week, you'll move your supplements to evening and notice if your energy feels more stable during the day. Each small change builds on the last, creating momentum that carries you toward the vibrant health you deserve. And as you begin to feel better, more energized, clearer thinking, more like yourself, you'll naturally want to continue making choices that support this newfound vitality. Remember Margaret, the teacher who walked into my office looking exhausted and defeated. Last month, she sent me a photo from her summer vacation hiking with her husband, both of them glowing with health and happiness. Dr. Winslow, she wrote, I never thought I'd feel this good again. Thank you for helping me find my way back to myself. Remember Linda, the lawyer who thought she was losing her mind? She recently called to tell me she'd just taken on the biggest case of her career and felt more mentally sharp than she had in years. I'm not just surviving anymore, she said. I'm thriving. Remember Janet, who thought she had to choose between bone health and feeling good? Her latest bone density scan showed continued improvement, and she told me she feels stronger and more confident in her body than she has in decades. These women aren't special. They're not genetically gifted or unusually disciplined. They're women just like you who decided to stop accepting less than they deserved and started working with their bodies instead of against them. Your body is not your enemy. Your hormones are not your curse. Your age is not your limitation. You are a woman with decades of wisdom, experience, and strength, and your body is capable of supporting you in feeling vibrant, energetic, and fully alive for many years to come. But it starts with a choice, the choice to stop believing that feeling tired, foggy, and disconnected from yourself is normal or inevitable. The choice to start listening to your body's wisdom instead of ignoring its signals. The choice to make small, daily decisions that honor your health instead of undermining it. The morning hormone hijack that's been sabotaging your well-being doesn't have to continue for one more day. You now have the knowledge to break free from this cycle and start supporting your hormonal health in the way it was meant to be supported. Your body has been patiently waiting for you to give it what it needs to heal, to balance, to thrive. It's been waiting for you to understand that the solution isn't more supplements, more interventions, more complicated protocols. The solution is simpler, gentler, and more natural than you ever imagined. You deserve to feel good in your body. You deserve to wake up with energy and go to bed satisfied. You deserve to think clearly, feel emotionally balanced, and experience the full range of intimacy and connection that makes life rich and meaningful. These aren't luxuries, they're your birthright. The women in my practice who have transformed their health and their lives all started exactly where you are right now, tired of feeling less than their best, ready for change, and willing to try a different approach. They took the first small step, then another, until they found themselves living in a body that felt like home again. You can be one of these women. You can be the success story you write 6 months from now, looking back at today as the day everything started to change. You can be the woman who broke free from the morning hormone hijack and discovered what it feels like to truly thrive after 40. Your journey back to vitality begins with your very next choice. Make it a good one. If this video has opened your eyes to the connection between your morning routine and your hormonal health, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss insights that could transform your well-being. And here's how I want you to engage with this community of women who are reclaiming their vitality. If this information was helpful and you're ready to make changes to support your hormonal health, type the number 1 in the comments below. If you're still skeptical or have questions about this approach, type 0. I read every single comment and often create follow-up videos based on your questions and concerns. Remember, you're not just changing your own life when you make these shifts, modeling for your daughters, your friends, your colleagues that women don't have to accept diminished vitality as the price of aging. You're part of a movement of women who are rewriting the story of what it means to be fabulous after 40. Share this video with someone you love who might be struggling with the same symptoms you've been experiencing. Sometimes the most powerful gift we can give another woman is the knowledge that there's hope, that there are solutions, and that she doesn't have to suffer in silence. Your best years aren't behind you. They're waiting for you to step into them. With the wisdom you've gained, the strength you've built, and the vitality you're about to reclaim, the morning hormone hijack ends now. Your transformation begins today.